So today's video is changing the LCD screen, hopefully, on my 08 Mini Cooper. Because if you look right there, you can see that the radio part of it is messed up. And so I got a new replacement screen, and it looks different than what this is, so I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work. But we're going to go ahead and take off this whole assembly, and hopefully we can fix it. Alright, first things we're going to take off is these little vent covers, because there is two T20s that hold on to it, onto the top part of this this cover from right here. So let me see if I can show you. It's going to be real hard to record, so I don't know what angles I'm going to be able to give you being in the car with a stand. But there's one right there, and there's one in there. Now that you got them unscrewed, get a little magnet. Got one. You got two. Next is two T27s sitting on the back of this tachometer. With the tack now loosey-goosey, we're just going to get onto the back center piece. Nothing is holding on to it, like as in no screws. It's just these pressure clips that you got to pry on. So yeah, I'm going to use my upholstery removal tool, and that's where I suggest if you have a plastic one, it's better, but metal one works also. So now once you get one lip, you kind of grab it, and then you just slowly walk the rest of this piece out. Got the center piece off. Now I can focus on the right, and then it comes off, and then you can just put it off to the side. Now we're going to go to the passenger side. You're going to lift this up. You're going to take off this cover right here. Nothing's holding on this one either. Just got to get behind it, pry it off. You pry it. Get the bottom piece out of here first. And then when you got this one, you kind of have to squeeze this down a little bit, give you some space, and you're able just to walk this out. The next thing we're going to do is, take off these screws. So these are two T20s on the right side. 1, 2. So now you got these two. That covers the right side. Now you got these two on the left. Also T20s. Now you got both sides off. This should be able to come right on out. I might have to put this down. No. There you go. She comes right out. You still got a clip for the hazard lights, but all you're going to do is just flip this around and leave it as is. You're not going to have to mess with this anymore for now. I mean, you could unplug it and take it off if you want, but I've learned that you could just move it off to the side. Alright, so next we're going to be messing with this right side piece. Can come off. There is one T20 up here and 3 T20s down here. So we're going to go ahead and take those off. And to get this one off, you're going to have those two up there, but you also have 2 screws down here. But to get to the bottom screws, you got to take off 3 screws down here. 1, 2, and then 3 over there. And now with those 3 things, screws taken off, you pull it off from the left, and this whole cover comes off. So now we got the 2 top screws to go. Now we have access to the bottom 2. Now we're going to be messing with this left side of this panel, which is holding the left side of the radio cover off. This is just held in by some push clips, so you just got to get behind it, pull that off. And now you got 2 screws right here, 1 and 2. Left side good. Now we're going to go to the other side. Same thing on the right side. You're going to grab it somewhere and you're going to just pry it off, and it just comes right off. And there you go. Second cover is off. And also there's 2 screws. And the last one to hold this front cover in is behind this panel right here. So with your removal tool, get behind it and it just pops out. This is all that's holding it. It's just kind of in there by pressure. Put that to the side. And there's 2 T27s. You're gonna want to get the top one. With those screws out, now this thing just can pop right out. Pops right off. The left side comes off, right side comes off. Kind of just hangs out there. To get room to pull off this whole radio assembly, I do take off this one plug. And with that pried out, move it out of the way, and this radio cover will sit right here, and that's enough to pull off this whole radio assembly. Now we're on the home stretch. There's the T20 up here. There's 2 T20s on either side of the, what is it, like 7 and 5 o'clock of the screen, and then a T20 on either side of this radio, and the whole assembly will come out. Now we're going to go ahead and slide this assembly out. Now you can see there's one plug right here. You just squeeze down and pull out. This one's easy. I don't know how good you can see, but got this electrical plug-in and then this radio plug-in. This, I believe, you just gotta pull up on it. There you go. That unlocks the assembly. You're able to like rotate it back, and then the plug just comes out. And this, the antenna, it's like a grip style. Just gotta kind of unlock it, and then she pops right out. And now, as you can see, we have our radio out. Just lift up, push on it, and now this whole assembly slides. But you can't just pull it away because there's this metal strip right here. That's what throws all the signal to the screens and all that. So you can't fully let it sit or pull on it. I have to put something under it. So I got a box of gloves right here. It's going to support it at least until I can separate the screen from the radio. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to disconnect this screen, this strip, this electrical strip from the screen, and then it'll just hang out here while I disassemble the whole crosshead, or the whole display assembly. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take off these 4 T20s screws. with those 4 T20s off, this piece with the screen and everything separates from the actual display. We're just going to move off move the display off to the side. We're going to have to get access to the little strip down there. And now we're going to separate the forward side from the back side. And there's 4 clips. There's these little push tabs, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when all those 4 gets squeezed in together, it allows this plate to pop off. Now this backing plate can move out of the way for a second. And all you have to do to remove this wire is kind of pry up on it. It flips up, and then you just gently lift it up. And now the screen is separated. And now to take off the screen from the rest of it, there is these 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 tabs you got to straighten out, and this whole motherboard setup, whatever it's called, will pop off. And you also got to do the same thing with disconnecting the electrical plugs. If you can see that, this is where the new one's going to sit. You know, what you're going to do is pop up on these little tabs, both sides, and then the strip comes right out. Pop up on the other side, and the strip comes right out. So now the screen is disconnected from the circuit board, but we still got to straighten out these 5 ground slash mounts. Now to straighten out those tabs, I'm using a flat, what are they called, duckbill? Not really duckbill, but they're closer to duckbill than needle nose. Just pretty much a flat edged pliers. So you can grab it evenly and just gently straighten them out. And there's 5. Now the circuit board can move out of the way. Now we just have the screen left, and the screen just pulls right out. There's your little bezel, and here's the screen. So now this is as far as I got to last time. I got to see if I can see how the new one goes in. So now that we got our screen backlit screen assembly, I don't know what you want to call it, display. The wiring is attached to the display. We're going to pull that off. And that's the piece that we're replacing. So now she's separated from the housing. I'm pretty sure this is where you get our orange LED or our orange light. Maybe, I don't know. This is beyond my expertise. So now we're going to move this one out of the way. And we're going to grab our new one. And we're going to place it where she needs to go. I'm just gonna lift it up so we can get into the slots. And then once you hear that click, now she's locked into place. And hopefully, if everything goes out good, we're gonna put this back in and I'm gonna test it out, and hopefully it starts up. So we'll find out in 2 minutes. Got the key. And no. So apparently it's just more than the screen. That's whack. Well, I'm gonna take it apart again. So, as you saw, they don't work. So it's kind of disappointing. I'm like, you know what? Let me just check the fuse. And I pulled out the fuse panel right there. It was a F21. It was for the radio / CD player. And I pulled it out, and I saw that the fuse was blown. So I really had high hopes for it. And so I put a 10 amp fuse or whatever, put it back in, but the screen's still bad. So it's either something from this assembly through the wire strip, or the actual circuit board rack here that controls the lights and stuff like that. And yeah, so what I'll probably do eventually is just swap a new one of these. But I mean, you guys saw more in depth than I needed to go, of course, now that I mean, looking at hindsight. But if you need a swap assembly, now you know exactly how to do it. If for some reason your screen went bad, which mine wasn't, because I guess that wasn't even the problem. Mine's a little bit more in depth, like something along the circuit board up here, or wherever that wire strip comes from. That's my problem. But if you guys need to do a screen, you know how to do a screen now. Need to swap this whole cluster or the radio, at least you know how to do that now. So I hope this helps, and y'all have a good one. And like I said, eventually I'm just going to swap this whole assembly and try it out, see if that's what it was. I'll just go get one from a junkyard or whatever. But yeah, there you go, and I'm just gonna put everything back together.